that went off. So that's one of my little hacks that I've learned, because in the past, if I felt tired, but I felt like I have so many things to do, I would just keep going and going and pushing and forcing.
Yeah.
And with the help of, one of my mentors is an energy healing friend, she's like, if you're feeling like that, and I've read it, through lots of other motivational speakers and, people like Tony Robbins and stuff. It's like, if that's how you're feeling, then you really need to step away. And it wasn't extreme, but it was, I always feel better afterwards. Even if I feel like I don't have the time to do that, to step away for 20 something minutes, I always feel better afterwards. So
yeah, nice.
Yeah. Welcome to day 2. Okay. My big burning question is, who else did the homework besides Belinda? Belinda, you posted in the group and I love that. Who else did the homework? And look who figured out how to find the chat. So I may refer, like I know how to find it, but yesterday, for some reason, I didn't know how to find it. So feel free to put anything in, Sandra, yay. Feel free to put anything in the chat. I will look at it a little bit, not a ton bit. A ton bit. Okay. Follow along with me. We are going to just do some light stretches. Then we're going to do a different set of breath work called 4-7-8 breathing that I love. And I want to tell you guys a little bit more about my background and why I am so passionate with women and self-defense. So reaching upwards, come down for a second, just reach up. You don't have to do the squat part. Just you're reaching up. This is what your hands look like. You're reaching up high, elongating yourself. Feel your feet in contact with the earth, and feel like even as you reach up high, squeeze your glutes because that will engage your core, and undo some of that compression, I guess, for lack of a better word. If we're sitting a lot, reach high, but also feel like you're completely grounded. And if I reached through Zoom and tried to push you, you'd be like, no, dude, I'm immovable. And now reach up and over, just pick a side, reach higher up and over on one side. And then I want you to feel like you are, as you inhale, send your breath to this side of your lungs, and inhale into this side that you're reaching up and over, and then gently exhale. Again, inhale. Feel it fill up this side of your lungs a little bit more. Exhale, come back to center. Other side, inhale. Now you're slowly and methodically filling up this other side of your lungs, and exhale, and do that side again, nice and slow. Never, I shouldn't say never, because there are types of breath work where it is a little bit more forceful and faster, but when you're doing slow breath work, don't force it. Gently bring your hands down. So just follow along with me to loosen up. A significant part of my childhood, let me back up. I thought for the longest time, because I grew up, switch direction, I grew up feeling, and I mean physically I was very weak, kind of weak and scrawny. I always wanted to be one of the athletic girls in high school, and I never was. I was always picked last for everything, except for maybe like Red Rover, send Dana right over, because I could never break through the people's grip. But other than that, on teams, I was never picked early on. What we're doing here, keep your hips, your belly button pointing straight ahead, and reach across as your hips stay pointing straight ahead, and just feel that rotation in your back. Reach across. This is something that my physical therapist has me do frequently to help loosen up my back. So growing up feeling like that, and also growing up witnessing a fair amount of abuse from, not towards me, but to both of my mother figures, by my alcoholic father. So that I really wasn't aware of how much that shaped this passion until one of my mentors, who's an energy healing friend, we're going to stretch out our forearm, take your fingers, put your hand upside down, take your fingers and gently pull them back. Don't force this. So my first passion was always animals, and I grew up being a nerd. I loved reading animals, and despite having teenage parents also, I was just always very driven. So knew that I was going to be a veterinarian from the time I was a little girl. I was reading all the switch hands, reading all the James Harriet, All Creatures Great and Small books. Like I would just read, a total nerd. And I still am a nerd to this day. I still love reading. So interestingly enough, I was driven enough to still, to become a doctor. But probably, okay, I met her in 2020. So yeah, actually it was in 2020. My energy healing friend, who I consider one of my big mentors in my life, she brought her little boy to the gym that I was working at, and she wanted kickboxing lessons for him. So and I had just started, well, not just, like a year before, started becoming very interested in spirituality. So it's very cool how the universe gives you what you're ready for, when you're truly ready for it. So she, with some work with her, this one we did yesterday, pull your ribs to the back side of your body and just send your breath to your back as you round. So she, with some sessions with her energy healing sessions, she helped me uncover that this was pretty much planted in me. Grab your wall or your chair or your stick. With the way that I grew up and witnessing abuse, what we're going to do, we're going to pick up one leg and definitely hold on to something very sturdy to do this for the first time. Pick up one leg and just hold it up behind you. You're going to feel a stretch in your thighs, in your quads. And that was a truly amazing discovery. I thought that, because I grew up feeling, weak and scrawny, that I wanted to feel that, the opposite of that. I wanted to always feel strong, and I wanted to have muscles. I never had muscles until, well, I mean, okay, I had muscles, but you couldn't really see them per se. Whenever clients say, I have no muscle, I'm like, you have muscle. Every human being has muscle. So, and then look at me, I say the same thing. So put on and gathered muscle definition in my early 40s. I am, oh, do you like that balance lose right there? I'm 51 now. So yeah, I had been working out, I had been going to self-defense classes, and then found out this piece of the puzzle through my energy healing friend, that, you know what, this was literally like in my deep in my soul is why I feel so connected to this. So that's just a little bit of a gee whiz that I was like a lot bit blown away when I found that out. Here's the next breathing thing that we're going to do. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. This is very cool, very powerful. There are a lot of breathwork tactics that are very powerful. This one, my stepfather has battled hypertension, high blood pressure for a long time. And this has been not 100% of the time, but this can, a decent percentage of the time, let's maybe say like 75% of the time, this can reduce his blood pressure, even when medications and stuff can't. So this one is going to be a 4-second inhale, 7-second hold, 8-second exhale. So that exhale, when we're pushing that breath out, you might feel like my breath is already all the way out. Literally like spit more air out, because there is more to come out. And it's very important for that exhale to be longer than the inhale. This, I'm going to try to not get too nerdy on you. This can reduce your blood pressure. It can reduce your stress because it activates the part of our system called the parasympathetic side, which is also known as our rest and digest. So basically, easy and much easier verbiage, it reduces your stress, and it also can reduce your blood pressure. So I'm going to count on my hands. 4-second inhale, 7-second hold, 8-second exhale. Okay, we're going to do this only 2 times, and when you do it out in life, 4 rounds is enough. You don't have to do this for 10, rounds, whatever. Just 4 rounds. We're going to do it twice. Okay, so you guys can feel it. Okay, get ready. The inhale is the first thing. Okay, inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Okay, that was just 2 rounds. When you do it on your own, do 4 rounds. You can throw this in anytime you need to de-stress. This one can also help you fall asleep, just like the box breathing. And again, it can reduce your blood pressure. It can do lots of different things for you, but those are some of the basics. And if you ever want to know more information, everything's on Sister Google nowadays. So it's called 4-7-8 breathing. Okay, we are going to do a couple more stretches, and I'm going to talk to you about situational awareness. I just remembered that I want to give you guys homework as well. And going back to the 4-7-8 breathing, that is going to be one of your homework pieces. So it's going to replace the box breathing, 4-7-8. That's what I wanted to add on about that too. Okay. Another stretch that I want you guys to think about, lots of times we spend a lot of time, most of life happens in front of us, right? Not much life happens behind us. Not much in life. We don't drive like this. We don't text like this. So when we're driving, texting, reading, at our desk, writing, lots of things that we're doing, we end up in this position. This position can make our pecs very tight. And then if we can't open our pecs, it affects lots of things on the backside of our body. So another thing that is very good to do, get up out of your chair. Whether you're desk job at home, at work, get up out of your chair every 50 minutes. Literally, I would set a timer on your phone. Every 50 minutes, get up out of your chair. You can do the reaching up and over that we did at the beginning to try to elongate and lengthen that spine again. And door frame openers. So I don't have a door frame. And this can be anything. Sometimes when the gas is pumping at the gas station, I'll grab the back of the car and do the same thing. What we're doing is we're getting a stretch on our pecs. So if this is my makeshift door frame, I generally will put my arm, and door frame just works because of the shape it is, our arm can just go along the door frame. And I usually will just stagger stand, step one leg forward. We know this from our warriors squats. Gently, just go to, I'm kind of rotating outwards to where you feel a decent stretch, and just hold it for whatever period of time. Like literally, even if you do this for 10 or 15 seconds, it's better than doing it for 0 seconds. You can also, when you have a door frame, you can adjust the height of where your arm is at. And if your hand starts falling asleep, don't freak out. Just take your hand away. It still happens to me sometimes too. In physical therapy, when I had my very first physical therapist, my hand would fall asleep a lot because that's how tight things were. Turn around wherever you are, and you can use the wall for this as well. Turn around wherever you are and do the other side. I don't want to put my back to you guys, so I'm going to use my fake wall right here. I suppose I could use this, right? Let me see. Will it work? No, not really. I can just put it behind me. Okay, so these are door frame openers. Hold this other side. for self-defense, situational awareness, but this is not just for self-defense, right? This is also for life. We naturally use all of our human senses to discern what's going on, whether it be at work, whether it be in our relationships with a loved one, with a family member, what's going on, what is happening in their face. We're visually looking at that. What's happening. Oh, that person looks sad. What we're using our vision. Also, auditory, our ears. That's another big sense that I don't know. Sometimes I kind of will forget about that one naturally sometimes. And this is a very interesting story. Okay, so those are door frame openers. I'm gonna come down to the ground. Oh, that reminds me. There was a comment yesterday that the second camera wasn't always visible. Did some troubleshooting afterwards. And I think what we decided, if you minimize the zoom, then the second camera goes away, because the second camera, I'm gonna be going down to the ground, and that's why I got the second camera, because one wasn't cutting it. So we're gonna come down to the ground and we're gonna work on ankles. So if you de-minimize, I like making up words too, or maximize zoom, hopefully you should be able to see the second camera. We're going to get some movement in our ankles. What we're gonna do is come down to where come sideways for a second, okay? Come down to where you're kind of sitting on one foot or leg. Face you guys again. And we're just gently, like, hold your knee, be very gentle with everything. We never want to force anything, right? And what I'm doing, I'm just rocking forward a little bit and feeling the movement in that ankle, and then come back. Rock forward, come back. Come sideways again, give you guys different views. Gently rock forward. Okay, so going back, then you'll follow me when we switch legs, or switch legs whenever you're ready. Auditory, hearing. Very cool story. I was in my garage working out one afternoon, and I had the big garage door open. And I'm laying on the floor. I was doing something called a Turkish get up with a kettlebell. And so I'm laying on the floor, and I have a kettlebell held up over my head. You basically, in a certain fashion, come down to the ground and then get up with holding a kettlebell over your head, right? Switch legs. And I heard something, and I was like, what on earth is that? It was, okay, this ankle just cracked because I gave it some mobility. I always try to mimic the sound, but I really can't mimic the sound. But it was something like this. How was that? Well, you wouldn't know because you weren't there, but it was something like that. And I'm like, what on earth? And because I'm on the ground holding this kettlebell over my head, I couldn't quickly get up, but I lifted my head up and I didn't see anything obvious. So I'm like, okay, like it's not some person running up my driveway with a machete. So I'm like, okay. And I didn't feel anything instinctively, wrong. And I finished doing my exercise. I come to standing, and across the street in the like gutter, and this house right across from me, there's a hawk. I think it was a hawk. It could have been a falcon that had caught a dove. And I was like, I love wildlife, and I am fascinated. And obviously also I'm sad, for the animal that's the prey. I love all animals. They're my first passion. It's also fascinating though. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so of course I do what, everyone does nowadays. I go run and grab my phone. And I still have the video. Here's the next thing that we're doing. We're doing cat and cow on the ground. We did a little bit of this sort of standing. We're going to do this on the ground. There's two ways to do this with the breath. I'm going to teach you the traditional way. Just make sure where I am. I'm going to come this way. Okay. Spread your fingers just like when we're doing our palm strikes and we're doing our de-escalating position, right? Spread your fingers. This gives you a wider base on the ground versus if your fingers are here. This isn't wrong. This just gives you a more stable base. you're going to push into the ground. That's going to activate your upper back and one of our main stabilizer muscles. So give me some pushing into the ground. And then what we're going to do, it's called cat-cow, which probably you guys have heard of this before, because we're going to go into this rounded back position. This is, the scaredy cat. And then we're going to come into this position, which is cow, where our butt's kind of up in the air and our back is sad. When we're in the cat position, drop your head. That's the proper way versus, turning your head and looking at a camera. This is the proper way. And then here, our head lifts. Here is, in the traditional way, this is the inhale part. Here, this is the exhale part. It can also be done totally reverse of that, and it's just called reverse cat-cow. So here's what we're gonna do. Come down here with me, spread your fingers, get that contact with the ground. Exhale as you round your back, and that same feeling when we did standing, try to pull your ribs up and back to the backside of your body. Okay, follow along with me. Exhale. Inhale, keeping your elbows straight. Slowly reverse, kind of let your chest drop through your shoulders. Elbows stay straight for this. So this was our inhale, exhale. When you're exhaling, feel how much your core is working. Inhale, and slowly move from one to the other. This is a great core exercise as well. Do one more round of these, exhaling when you're rounding that back, and then inhaling as your chest drops through, keeping those elbows straight. That is cat-cow. When you get up from the ground, since we're down here, let's talk about this. When you get up from the ground, I would also encourage you to practice getting up and down off the ground. Just put one foot in front, and if you can, try to get up with no hands on your legs. If you have to put a hand on your leg, cool, great, do it. Think about your glutes. Your glutes are helping you. You'll feel a lot of thigh as well, but that's a great thing to practice, is getting up and down from the ground. So our second sense, which is auditory, and I heard that hawk or falcon catching a dove. Auditory can tell us a lot of stuff about what's going on. Are we out in the world and all of a sudden we hear behind us, like coming up too fast? That's going to get our attention. We're going to turn around and see what that is. The third sense, and in my opinion, I don't know, I think this is our most important sense. Not that it's about which one is more important. You don't have to compare everything, Dana. Kinesthetic. This is our gut. This is our intuition. Our instinct and our intuition is our internal GPS system. We have it built in. We know when something feels wrong. We don't. Intuition is when you know something, but you don't know why you know it, if that makes sense. That's what our intuition is. And we all have it. We're very good at it naturally as women. Children are really good at it. And then, of course, life happens, and sometimes we have lots of reasons that we learn to ignore our intuition. Guilty as charged. I love to that as I've had my spiritual mentors, my therapists, I have really been able to honor and tap back into my intuition. Ladies, that is a superpower. So listen to that intuition. 3 senses to make sure that you are assessing your surroundings and being completely aware. Visual, auditory, the fancy word for gut instinct is kinesthetic. And coolly enough, when I was learning how to snowboard instruct, they talked about those same things. They even had a little VAK. That was their little, what's it called when it's the letters? You know what I mean. So I was like, wow, so many things overlap in life. And that is why I love thinking about self-defense in a holistic realm. Okay, let's do some of our warrior warm-up. I'm going to add a couple things to yesterday. We talked about palm strikes, right? We're gonna do our warrior squats, which are split squats. So put one foot down in front. The other foot is on the ball of the back foot, just like how we are when we walk in life. Hands are gonna be up here, and feel the strength in your arms. Create that tension in your arms. If you need to do this, sometimes that helps a little bit. You can do whatever you want. There's no right or wrong. Hands are up. We are going to do one squat, come up, 2 palm strikes. One squat, come up, 2 palm strikes. Keep going. As you're squatting, think about, do you feel a lot of glute on that front leg? Do you feel your core when you're rotating to give those palm strikes? Do you feel all of that? Do you feel that big toe, little toe, and heel connection with the ground of that foot when that foot is planted? Now switch your feet. Put the other foot in front, the other foot on the ball of the foot. Do you feel the calf of the foot, of the leg that has the ball of the foot on the ground, the leg that's behind you? Do you feel that calf? Imagine if you had to keep yourself safe. Do you feel that you can do that? Do you know that you can do that? Do you believe and do you know that you can do that? Because I do. I believe and I know that you can do it. But that doesn't do anything if you don't believe it. I need you to believe it. You are what I need to help make this world full of empowered women, teenagers, girls, boys, men, everyone. Just because this is only women does not mean that any of this is limited to women. Most, not all, but most of my self-defense mentors are men, and this is what they teach to men. It's very much my passion and purpose to empower women. We are much stronger than we sometimes give ourselves credit for. The next thing that we did yesterday were hammer fists. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna step front. I would like you guys to start here. We're gonna step front into a lunge, come back, and then give me 2 hammer fists. My feet are gonna be in line for this one. When we have to protect ourselves in life, we're not gonna be in a certain stance, in a fighting stance. This is why I don't talk about fighting stance. Other leg, step front. This is why I don't talk about fighting stance like I do when I'm teaching kickboxing, boxing, or MMA. Because real life violence, it's messy. It's not. They did Karate Kid. That's not what it is. The next thing that we're going to do, we talked about backwards walking yesterday. We're going to do a similar thing. We're going to step back into that reverse lunge. And this might be and we're going to do the same thing with the hammer fist. So step back, come back, hammer, hammer. And here's the other thing you can do with the hammer fist. Step back, come back, hammer, hammer. You can mix up the angles. Step back to the front, hammer, hammer. Maybe he's really tall. Other leg. Step back to the front, hammer, hammer. All of these angles work with these fists. Same thing with the palm strikes. They can work at all different angles too. So that can be any sort of angle. There's not just one angle. Okay, that's good with those. Our plank, I got a chair. If you guys have, this can stay on the wall. This can be on a countertop. If you want to grab your phone or computer and walk over to a countertop. Do you like my charades? I kind of like doing that. I don't know why. Take it to a countertop. This works great too. I'll often give clients homework and I'll be like, okay, every time you go to the bathroom, I want 10 bathroom squats and 10 bathroom countertop push-ups. So we're gonna do our plank. Remember with our plank, I'm gonna use the chair this time. So I am taking from my makeshift wall and taking it to a chair. This can be done again on the wall, on the countertop, on the chair, on the bench, and on the ground. as you work your way down to the ground is obviously hardest because gravity is directly against us. But I like to gradually work down to that. So with our plank, let's go back to this position. I'm looking in here in this spade or spear, and I'm maintaining bent elbows so that my muscles are holding tension. And as he's trying to pull me in, I'm holding and maintaining space until I can do another strike. So let's do a short duration plank. I'm going to use my chair here. Let me move it a little bit. Okay. Here, hands here. Remember, glutes are squeezed, we're tucked. I'm looking between here, step back, or just step back away from the wall. Still squeeze your glutes, a little bit of a bend in those elbows, and envision you're creating tension. You should feel tension. This should naturally, your core should want to embrace, your core should want to embrace, and imagine that you're holding yourself away from being pulled in. You're keeping that space, you're creating tension. Take a break. That was actually longer than I meant it to be. Next thing we're going to do, that from that similar position, but let's separate the hands a little bit. Let's do our push-ups. And this is also in our choreography. We're envisioning he pulled us in, we pushed ourselves away. So that same thing, let's just do a few of these. Hopefully you should be feeling pretty warmed up just with these things that we've done. So now that same position, whether you are on the wall, on the countertop, on a chair, on the floor, on a bench, whatever you are on, get in that similar position, just widen your hands a little bit. And now envision, squeeze those glutes, you should feel your core automatically bracing, pulls you in, push yourself away. He pulls you in, you push yourself away. He pulls you in, you push yourself away. Good. Okay, what's that? What are our three senses again? Just to review: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or gut. This relates to lots of things in life too. Does it feel wrong for me to take that job? Does it feel wrong for me to say yes to helping with that extra task that a lot of us get sucked into or guilted into or whatever? Okay, we're going to come down to the ground one more time. We're going to do warrior crunches. I'm going to check this really quick. Can everybody see the second ground camera? Did the backwards walking? Yay, Sheila, you did backwards walking. Yay. I clicked on the view side by side and said, oh, yay, Belinda. Side by side. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can see. Okay, good. Wow, I don't even know if I know about side by side view. I'm learning new things from you. Cool, cool. Okay, we're going to come down to the ground one more time. Where are we time-wise? Okay, warrior crunches. So we could all do, traditional crunches that are, I don't know, in my opinion, a little bit boring. Or we can do a similar thing with our warm-up, and we could put some visuals into it. And I get it that sometimes these visuals are a little bit stressful. However, my goal is never to stress you out. My goal also with self-defense, and I say this every single time I hold an in-person workshop, my goal is never to make people paranoid. Walking around being paranoid is, I don't know, I think it's just as bad as walking around being, completely oblivious, like how I was. I walked around for years, and then finally, after traveling to Johannesburg, South Africa, and they told us how dangerous it was, I was like, oh my gosh, what would I do? Like, I'm a scrawny little weakling. What would I actually do? So I never want you paranoid. It's just that sadly, there has been violence in the world from the beginning of time. I'm pretty sure back, cavemen were violent to each other. So sadly, that's not going to change. So if you feel and know and believe that you are strong, that you have strength, that you always, always, always have a chance and that you will not be a victim. You are going to walk differently. Therefore, you are going to be less likely to ever be chosen as a victim. And it's going to translate to everything in your life, your relationships, your work, everything. And that to me is holistic self-defense. It's also going to give you the courage to say no to that 24th task that someone asks you to, to be to be the parent teacher, whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, now I guess I'm gonna do that at 1 a.m. No, dude, you're gonna say no. And it's hard for us to say no sometimes. Okay. Warrior crunches. Regular crunches, we kind of are here and we're just going in, up and down in one plane of motion. But life happens in all kinds of different angles, right? So hands up here again, and just give me some little crunches. Side, side, now middle, now side, now more side. So just go through several of these, side, and you can repeat. Side, side again, other side. And this is just a way to give a little more variation to your crunches and keep going a little bit more. I personally am not a big fan of full sit-ups. I think it was my first physical therapist was just like, it's just not great for your back. So I never ask my clients to do full sit-ups. So crunches and planks, there's tons of other things. Stability balls, blah, blah, blah. But stop if you haven't stopped already. This is just a way to add more variation to things. Okay, let's come to standing. And also, holistic self-defense. To me, it also means defending what we put in our bodies, food-wise, defending our sleep. Sleep is a superpower. Sleep is everything. I was listening to a Tony Robbins video this morning on YouTube, and he was talking about, the pillars in our lives, the things that really, really matter. Our health and our body, our energy and our strength. It translates and relates to everything in our lives, our relationships, our business, our everything. Okay, let's review the choreography. Let me grab a drink real quick. We're going to go through the choreography again, do it with music, and add on a few more counts. And if anyone's feeling uncoordinated, trust me, girl, I have been there. I've been there on camera in front of a room of like 60 people while the instructor's filming. And I messed up twice. Not that I remember anything. So who cares? Doesn't matter. And if anyone, let me just come down here real quick. If anyone wants to be on camera, that would be amazing. It's a good thing I didn't sing. Good thing I kept my first career song. Okay, choreography. Let's go through this slowly. Uncoordinated, doesn't matter. Make it your own. Coming up and around. He pulls us in. We push away. Other leg pulls us in. Push away. Side. So I'm stepping to the side because he pulled me in, right? And I'm pushing myself away to come back to center. Other side. Oh. Okay, that's our first 8 count. Let's do that again. In, away, in, away, in, away, in, away. Okay, so we ended here. I'm keeping those arms strong because I'm keeping this block in place. The leg that just stepped out to the side with, that same leg is going to cross behind or in front, doesn't matter. It's going to 1, 2, 3, tap. Let's do that again. So we ended up here. I just went to this side, pulled me in, push away. That same leg, I'll do it in front this time because it really doesn't matter. It's dance, it doesn't matter. Front, 2, 3, tap. So that is a 4 count from there. I ended up a little bit more off to the side than I wanted to be. Okay, so take it from here. You pulled me in, push him away. Same leg. Can go in front or back, doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, tap. you tap if you want. Give me a little booty squeeze there. Why not? Now I'm going to choose to go in front, but this could be with the leg that's tapping, but this could also be behind. It could be whatever you want. That's the great thing about dance is you get to put your own secret sauce on it. Now I'm going to tap. I'm going to start stepping with this leg. 1, 2, 3. And here's my kick. Or it can be another tap. If you want to kick, we can bring that leg up here, kick, or it could be another tap. Chair. Okay, the chair is out of the way. Let's start from here, from the end of this 4 count. I'm still looking because my attacker is here. I'm stepping this leg that's tapped out to the side. I'm stepping it front, side, side, kick. Okay, let's put those are the first 2 8 counts. Let's put those together. Okay, from the top. In, back, side, side, step, 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 tap, step, 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 kick. Okay, how does that feel? I'm gonna check the chat. I'm so proud of myself that I found the chat. I mean, I knew where it was before, but just can see it. Cool. Okay, how does that feel? Let me know. I'm going to do a little bit more, and then we're going to put music on. Let's end at the kick. Let's go from the kick. Okay. So arms are still up here, strong arms, feeling that tension in your arms. So I did the kick. This is 8. The kick is 8. Bring it down. 1, same leg. 2, other leg. 3, other leg, tap back. So it's similar to the side, except now we're just doing it to the back, right? I don't know. I envision like a little T. Visual learners, kinesthetic learners. It's all different. I also do learn with sound too. So same thing, right? The same way we sense our surroundings is how we learn and operate in life, because it all translates. Let's add that on. Let's go from the top. So that way we're practicing the top as well. Okay, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, because that's how I'll start too. So let's practice that starting. 5, 6, 7, 8. In, back, side, back, step, 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 tap, step, 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 kick, down, back, tap. And your hands, the cool thing about dance is your hands can do whatever. Like, yes, I'm making this a self-defense based dance, but your hands can also be, they can be like floaty hands, because floaty hands, what is that? I don't know. They don't have to always be jazz hands, because our self-defense hands they're very much like jazz hands, right? I never did jazz, but I want to. So they could be, you could also make them floaty hands. So they can be whatever you want them to be. Let's go from the top again. Sorry. 5, 6, 7, 8. In, back, side, back. Step, 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 tap, step, 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 kick, down, back, tap. Let's add on. And again, if you're on different legs, I promise you it doesn't matter. So I've tapped back this leg. Now I'm coming forward, 1, 2, 3, and kicking to the front. So it's very similar to what we did from side to side. Yes, from side to side. I was like, is that right? From side to side. Now we're doing it back to front. So it's pretty symmetrical, but I think it looks cool when it's with the song. Let's go from the top and let's add on that piece. Okay, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. In, side, back, tap, cross, kick, down, back, tap, step, kick. Okay, we're almost to the fun part. What I think is the really fun part, because as you can tell from the song, There's no real words in it, except for the little preview you got at the end. So we've just kicked that leg. And again, whatever leg. Notice I'm not saying left, right, because for one, it's backwards for me, truth be told. And for two, it really doesn't matter. It truly doesn't. So that's why I'm not worried about it. So after we've kicked, you have options. We are going to do a 3-count turn. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. You're going to end up back to the front. Or it can be other leg. 1, 2, 3. Totally doesn't matter. You're just doing a 3-count turn. 3 steps to do a 360-degree turn. That's it. Can be the other way. I think this is fun to like act like you're pulling yourself around with the arm. That's just your flair, and your flair can be whatever it can be. And then we're gonna do the no part after that, or it can be like that too. It can be whatever you want it to be. Let's go slow from the top and add that on. I'm getting a little too excited about this. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Front, back, side, step, tap, step, kick, down, back, tap, step, kick, step. Then she says no. I think it's so. I was picking out songs and I was like, there's a no in there. I'm like, yes, because it's like no. The only thing better would be if it said stay back, huh? Stay back. Be like, oh, this song was written for this. Okay, so we did the kick, turn, no. Let's try it again. Let's try it one more time, and then we're gonna put music on and see how it feels with music. Okay, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Front, side, cross, tap, cross, kick, down, back, tap, step, kick, turn, no. Okay, that's what we have. All right. Let me get our music set. Hold on. And I will check the chat if anyone has questions. Okay, music, chat. You got it, Sheila? Yes. Feels good, Sandra? Yes. Better than yesterday, Belinda? Yes. And that's how it goes. You know, I didn't spend a ton of time on it yesterday because, you know, of course it's not just dance, it's self-defense. But yeah, when I take dance classes, you know, by the like, I don't know, 10th time we do it, I sort of have the feet. The arms are always, it's hard for me to put both of them together. Okay. I've altered a little something with tomorrow. We're going to have another 8 count before she says no. So forgive me if the timing is a little bit off. I'm going to try to guess where to start with removing that 1 8 count and putting it in tomorrow. So that is my little disclaimer if we're off on the no. Okay. Screen, new share. I like to talk to myself when I'm doing things. New share so that I know I'm doing it right. Share sound, share. And so I know where I needed to start when I had the other 8 count in, but deleting it for today, saving it for tomorrow, it might be a little bit off in where she says no. Hold on, look at this. Okay, so I'm just taking out 1. Okay. 40. When I start the music, let me know if it's too loud. I'll check the chat real quick. figure out where it's going to be with the. Okay. We're just going to wing it and see what happens. One more time. Is the sound back on? Okay. So when I have the other 8 count in tomorrow, we'll line up correctly with the no, but you got to feel it out, right? I just have to laugh. I like the laugh. Thank you guys, Belinda and Aurelia. I appreciate that. I know the beat is like so funky, right? I like it. Good. I'm glad the sound was good. The first time I tried this, the sound was like, okay, so what will happen tomorrow? And we'll do a couple more. What will happen tomorrow? I'm looking at my cheat sheet if you guys keep wondering why I'm looking down. Full disclosure. There's no reason to act like I don't need notes because you should see the amount of notes I have down here. What will happen is we will have a whole other 8 count before we do the 3-point turn and do no. And then we may or may not have some freestyle after that, but I'll give you some ideas for freestyle. Freestyle means you just kind of do whatever you want and it doesn't matter. It's all correct. But I like practice over and over and over where to start because it's tricky to know where to start when there's no words, you know, like in hip hop class where they can use, you know, music from artists, you know, that I'm sure the place obviously has to like pay them or whatever. You can go off of the words and they do. It's like, I guess that's why I like the charade so much because in hip hop, the dance is going to the words. So they'll do movements, you know, that go with the words. And you know exactly where to start because of the words. This one I had to I had to practice so many times, like, okay, so it starts at 50 seconds and then yeah. So anyway, so yes, that's what will come in tomorrow. So you guys feel better about this one, which is freaking awesome. And tomorrow we will have more stuff. We'll have another 8 count. I want to quickly talk about one more bony weapon because it will be in tomorrow's choreography. And this can also be delivered from, holy moly, time flies when you're having fun. This can also be delivered from our de-escalating, showing our cameras that we are not the aggressor. These are elbow strikes. Elbows are a great bony weapon. Lots of self-defense happens in close, right? Because he's trying to get our property, our body, or our life. So he has to come in close to do that. Therefore, elbows, because our arm is bent, they are a shorter range weapon than, say, a palm strike can be short or it can be longer distance. Hammer fist, same thing. It can be shorter or it can be longer. Elbows, by nature of the fact that our arm is bent, they are shorter range weapons. And a couple, elbows can happen at all angles. In Krav Maga, they taught us 7 elbows. In my opinion, there's way more than 7 angles, but they can be done at all different angles. 2 basic ones are that are very ergonomic, natural. When you put your seatbelt on, when you reach for your seatbelt, whether you're passenger or driver, that's your elbow right there. So you go to reach and put your seatbelt on, there's an elbow, there's an elbow. In order to make that a little more powerful, you can feel your rotation in there. Your core work brings that elbow, makes it even more powerful. Those are 2 elbows. Cross. 2 more elbows, and I like to practice things right and left. 2 more elbows are if you push your hair back. Okay, I'm gonna date myself right here, but I already told you guys how old I am. Remember the Fonz? Wouldn't he do that with his slicking his hair back? so there's another elbow. And especially if the guy's taller than you, like my Boz, are you in frame, Boz? Barely. The guy's taller than you, getting that elbow up and underneath, that works. So we're just putting our hair back, or we're going to scratch our back. Scratch your back. There's your other elbow. But elbows can be delivered at all kinds of angles. They can be delivered behind you. I call this one the nightclub elbow. It's like, hey girl, and you're like, get away. So it also looks like a figure 4 to me. So there's some great bony weapons. That is part 2 of your homework. I had to squeeze this in here. Part 2 of your homework is to go from your de-escalating position to putting on your seatbelt, come back. Put on your seatbelt, come back, brush your hair back, come back, brush your hair back, come back. 4, 7, 8 breathing before you go to sleep. I would also love it when you wake up, but you should already be in a relaxed state when you wake up. Elbows from this position, seatbelt, seatbelt, hair back, elbows. And then the last thing, which I like every single client, friend, family member, anyone who will listen and do this, is to say 5 things you're grateful for every morning and every evening. Whatever our situation is, there is always something to be grateful for. So, and even writing them down takes that another step further. So writing down and or saying 5 gratitudes a day, every morning and every evening. And even with these homework things, if you write yourself a note to help remember to build these habits, that is how I love to build habits. Either I love written notes. I have notes everywhere, and or notes on your phone with an alarm, with a timer that goes off. And it's like, oh, first thing, whenever you tend to wake up, 5 minutes later, if gratitudes, pops up, great. If you don't touch your phone for a while, which is really good after you wake up, then having a note, and until it's a built-in habit. The last thing I want to mention is, following this 3-day program, I'm going to have It's normal. I envisioned it being a 6-week program. However, since the holidays are upon us, and holidays can be challenging for a number of reasons. They can be sad for certain reasons. They could be hard with all the food. They can be hard with the stress of, what am I doing? Where am I going? How can I see everyone? And blah, blah, blah. So what I'm doing this is going to be the first founders cohort of this virtual group training, and I will tell more about it tomorrow to give you more details, is I'm planning on doing 2 bonus weeks that will start the middle of December and then the 3rd week of December. I'm going to do something a little bit different the last week of December because I'll be working snowboarding instructing for basically a week straight at Mammoth. So it'll be kind of more like bits and pieces of checking in, accountability, whole life self-defense. So think of nutrition, strength training, self-defense tactics, and mindset tactics, like the breathing stuff, like the gratitudes. And it will be 8 weeks instead of 6 because of the holidays. And I would love to have you. I would love to have you alongside me. I would love to be a mentor for you. I heavily use a lot of mentors in my life, have used mentors, still using mentors. So I wanted to mention that, and I will tell you much more about it tomorrow. Remember your 3 homework pieces, your 4-7-8 breathing when you lay down, 4 rounds of that, please. 4 rounds of that is the magic number. Elbows from here, seatbelt, seatbelt, hair back, hair back. Think about those elbows, and those are great bony weapons. And then 5 gratitudes. So the gratitudes are happening right after or before your 4-7-8 breathing tonight, and then first thing in the morning. Write yourself a note if you need to. I thank you so much for spending time with me, because time is that one resource that we cannot get back. So I do not take it lightly. I will see you guys in the group with the replay, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3. Sorry, I have to do it. Day 3. Like, I love doing this, except it's hard for me to go the other way. Okay, and my VIPers, I will see you guys in 7 minutes. Okay, bye, you guys.